welcome to Movie of the Year. This is like the 0 episode of our 2019 season. And guys, I'm going to bring you in right away because I know you each have so much that you want to talk about. Mike?
Yes.
Welcome.
I'm here right away.
Mike?
Thank you for bringing me.
Ryan?
Yes, I'm so glad more 2019 conversation gets to happen.
Let me ask you this. Let's start off with this first question. How come some days you're just so sad?
I think it's because because I've been your best friend for too long, and it's time for someone else to take over.
I need a fresh beat. Yes. What do you think, Mike? You just wake up and some days you're like, I only can get through this day. There's nothing else to do but just get through.
I feel like I live my life like the Wile E. Coyote, where I ignore those days, and you're really making me look down right now, and everything, the bottom is going to drop out hard.
I think this pertains to 2019. It's just, no matter how happy you are at any one moment, you will be so profoundly sad later. Agree or disagree?
No, yeah, I think that's... I don't know if it's the year or if it's the age we're at in the year 2019.
Oh, it's the worst combo.
Yeah,
You're the worst age in the worst year. Because it is, you have the normal existential death that we all have to face at the ages we are, and it's no longer like grandparents are dying; it's like uncles and friends' uncles are dying.
And that's the part of death that's scary, right? Is that the people around us die? Because honestly, and I think I speak for everybody when I say we kind of want the oblivion of
Sweet
death personally,
release.
right? Yeah, okay.
Sure. And the fact that we're not religious means that it's not. We don't want heaven or anything.
No,
we just want to become that rock in the dirt, and sleep forever and never think again.
Oblivion, yeah. We just want to be turned off.
What if you found out the afterlife was watching Oblivion on repeat with Tom Cruise?
Or, honestly, it might be playing the game Oblivion. And, guys, there's a lot to do in that game.
I don't know,
a lot of side quests.
There's ways to turn off thinking before you die. Do you guys drink copious amounts of vodka every day?
No.
Yeah. What? No.
I smoke an awful lot of marijuana, right?
See? Isn't that working?
It's okay. Or I'll take a nap.
The problem is that when you come down, when you're not high or drunk anymore, then not only are you back to the thoughts of that moment, but then all the thoughts you thought you skipped while you were high or drunk.
Yeah.
They just
and then all the people you have to apologize to. And it's even worse when everybody's like, you were fine. And you're like, oh, this is worse.
Oh, yeah. When you contact people and you're like, sorry about last night. And they're like, oh, no, you were okay. And you're just like, oh.
Or I didn't even see you.
Honestly, dude, I'm not sure who you are.
For me, they always say that I was okay because of how often I've reset my bar of what me being okay is. Relatively speaking, you only peed in 4 plants. That's not that big of a deal.
On the scale of 1 to Ryan, you were a gentleman.
And the plants are thriving. So
wait, hold on. 1 is a gentleman, and 10 is Ryan.
Yeah. So I guess 3 is a gentleman. 1 is Jesus Christ, superstar.
Okay, so this works
superstar.
backwards than most 1 to 10 lists or rankings.
Yeah, it's golf rules.
Gotcha. Golf rules.
When it comes to 2019, I saw a bunch of movies this year.
Brag.
And it is a brag. And I have to say, great year at the movies. Just excellent year at the movies.
There was, of course, the backlash because Society sort of announced that, and everybody was like, well, it's actually not that good. But I don't know if you guys did, but I got a little gander at the bracket that we're about to go through, and no, it was great.
A dynamite year.
It was spectacular. I would say that, a lot of these second tier movies could crush winner movies from the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, and I think we have to lay bare a little bit of how we're going to do this, because what we're going to do is when in some of these matchups, it's going to be one movie that is maybe an artistic critic's darling, but nobody ever heard of, versus big top tier AAA movies.
I hope that all 3 of us have at least heard of each movie, but I'm not even sure that's going to be the case.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I can think of a whole tier of movies that I had heard of but have not seen, like Atlantiques or Portrait of a Woman on Fire.
I don't. That's the first time I've heard that word. Is that a French movie?
It is it's African, right?
Yeah.
But that's what a shit. That's a big place, dog.
That is.
To me, it kind of seemed like maybe it was Somalian because it seemed to be about a relationship between a young woman and a guy who I think was supposed to be a pirate, and so then I thought Somalia.
Plus, I think it was Richard Roper's pull quote on the poster said that's Somalian. So that was his review.
We're not giving out points, but you know what? You would have gotten one right there.
Every other year that we do this, that's not the current year. We just go by Letterboxd.com.
Yeah.
And they the users of Letterboxd choose the seeds. Because the year is so new. It's like it was like 2 months ago, guys.
Yeah.
What we did is we jammed the Letterboxd movies, the movie list with like sort of an amalgamation of all the critics lists and put them together, and it made stuff weird. You know, like we're always going to argue on what should be seated where, but this one is different. So just prepare, scream. Don't scream at me. Scream at the board if you want.
And that's just what's going to happen, Ryan, and it's going to happen on the other side of this sound effect. We're in the thick of it, guys, and I'm really upset. It's number 1, Parasite, versus number 17 overall, Farewell. This is fucked.
So there's 16 movies, right?
Yeah.
15 of them could have gone up against Parasite.
Yeah.
The Farewell is the one that
is
does.
the one that does
and that,
go up against
that
it.
timely name it has.
So it could have been like Star Wars. I mean, there could have been like so many.
That would have felt good.
Yeah, 1917. Then we just feel like, oh, we're not derelict in our duty. But I mean, I love The Farewell. This is my favorite movie of 2019. I mean,
Are you serious? This is your number 1?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, favorite means different than best.
Yeah, and it would probably be going up against Little Women. But honestly, when I really review the sort of like chart of my excitement, when I review the things I said about it, like this movie was so exciting to me. I thought it was so beautiful and so funny. The camera loves Awkwafina, and I love the camera. Therefore, I love Awkwafina. Transitive property. But in what world do we make a case where this movie upends Parasite?
Now you got to remember the ownership of the year, and Farewell had 0.
I do have some incredible news. We cheated a bunch before we started the whole 2019 season, and we did 3 random movies.
That's true.
One of them is The Farewell, so if you want to hear our thoughts on that, you can. Like, it got its own episode.
Yeah. And there's, so like that episode exists, and you can hear me absolutely go crazy for The Farewell.
While Ryan and I just hated it. We just shit on it.
Yeah. You guys were like, this is a stupid movie. Greg's a stupid person. I remember you both said that individually.
I guess Greg loves cameras, and that's why he likes
Greg
this movie.
hosts the show. Greg asked the questions. Why would he ask, is Greg a stupid person, as like to start off the segment?
Because he's a stupid person.
It was a test, and we all failed, myself totally included. I really liked, just the way The Farewell was shot. Awkwafina is not always just great in everything that she's in. I think it's fair to say that. Like, she's on this new show called Nora from Queens, and she's good in it, but she's not amazing, and she's good in Crazy Rich Asians, but not amazing. She is an actress in this movie.
Watching Crazy Rich Asians, it makes me feel old. Like my parents thought about Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. Like, it's just a lot. And so I didn't really jump on board the whole Awkwafina bandwagon until this movie.
Yeah.
Where I knew what she could do, and then seeing this, I was like, goddamn.
Goddamn.
Okay, well, I'm going to call for a vote because this feels like about as much of a slam dunk as there exists in this round. So what's it going to be, Mike? Parasite or The Farewell?
Parasite.
Ryan?
Parasite,
right? Poor Farewell. You were so good. We loved you. Watch that show. No, listen to that show because that's the only option.
Yeah, fucking watch it. Just watch our sound waves go up and down.
You do you, everybody.
Well, you use your Moody brand puppet to like have something to watch while you listen to the show.
So we have guaranteed a Parasite show. Parasite is in the season. It could potentially, maybe, be movie of the year.
It could be. Who knows?
It could be.
So far, though, I'm not super shocked.
There have been very few times when movie of the year and Best Picture track. So that is a stat against it right off the bat.
Wait, has it ever happened?
No.
Okay.
Usually we just scream about how bad the Picture of the Year is.
Yeah, last year we made it the Patreon episode. That's how insulted we were by the Best
So we
Picture.
could all line up and take turns dunking on it.
But I mean, even in like 88 or 04 or like we've never gelled with the Oscars.
Yeah. We've never even had respect for the Oscars.
Fuck the Oscars, man.
So let's see with Parasite. Next up is number 8 overall seed Knives Out versus number 9 overall seed Uncut Gems.
Oh, shit. Both of those are tools you can use in your
This
hands.
is hard for me because of how much I like both these movies, but I don't feel like it's actually that difficult going according to the rules we have. And the rules state just like if one had a huge impact, Knives Out, open and close parentheses, and the other one just was a very good movie but didn't have as much of an impact, open, close parentheses, Uncut Gems.
Yeah, I kind of want to do Uncut Gems because it'd be more fun to argue with you guys about how good it was, whereas Knives Out is just like clean and classic and awesome.
Yep.
The reason that Knives Out left such a big imprint, besides being so great, is that along with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, everybody was saying, see, they don't all have to be sequels to be successful. This was one of those movies. But it's up my alley. It's up Hollywood's alley. Like, Uncut Gems has its issues, and those issues are interesting, but I don't see how we can...
Do you think one of the issues is that one of the major subplots of Uncut Gems is Kevin Garnett loves a rock? That
instead of Iran,
it is such an important part of this movie that Kevin Garnett sees this opal and basically falls in love with it and can't let it go.
I listened to an interview with Kevin Garnett about the movie, and they were like, "Hey man, we have to have you do this." And he was like, "Oh no, that's totally what I would do."
Did you think it was weird? Because Kevin Garnett's married. Did you think that it was weird when at the Oscars he and the opal came out and there was that obvious, really strong sexual chemistry between them?
Also, what's his fucking last name? It's Kevin what?
Garnett. I know, right?
Insane.
Okay, so what's it gonna be, guys? What's moving on? Knives Out or Uncut Gems?
I also think that we are closer to Rian Johnson in sensibilities than the Safdie brothers.
Yeah.
I think, I'm interested in to see how far they push us away when we're watching, but I love Rian Johnson's warm embrace. I got to go Knives Out.
All right, Mike, what's it going to be for you?
I'm going to dark horse and say Uncut the Gems.
Sometimes you want it to be up to you, and then other times you're just like, this is like so upsetting.
Let's go to Mike right now. Mike, do you have a guess as to how he's going to go?
I think he's going to vote for the farewell.
Yeah, that seems typical Greg.
That would be cheap. Oh God, you guys. I'm sorry.
I want that sound on
what
repeat.
Can beat Parasite? If you're leaning both ways, what can beat Parasite?
I liked Uncut Gems so much. I'm freaking out. I'm totally freaking out. If I have to vote, and I do here, it's Uncut Gems.
Holy shit.
Oh man. Because at some point you have to say what way it's going to go.
Mike's freaking out about it.
Yeah, dude, Mike made he growled at me. Okay, well that was a bit of an upset.
That was intense.
That was like something was working through me there and I felt weird. Okay.
Hey, non-Patreon listeners, the Patreon listeners in the Zero episode got none of that. So if this is too intense for you, sign up for Patreon and listen to that.
That was what watching the movie Uncut Gems was like.
We just did that in podcast.
And now we're doing a show about Uncut Gems and we're not doing a show about Knives Out.
That is correct.
I just made the fucking jellicle choice right there. All right.
That's
Mike finally knows. Number 4, Avengers Endgame versus number 13, Little Women.
Oh, what the fucking fuck?
So I would just like to watch both of your guys' dual fandoms fight it out over this one.
We talked about what the rules were. But it's just I have a really hard time saying that I loved Avengers Endgame. I love it. It's so awesome. But this is a podcast about movies. We talk about movies on this podcast.
Films, if you will.
Films.
Capital F, capital L, capital I, capital L.
Cinema.
Capital M, capital
S. Cinebuns. I mean, are we going to say Avengers Endgame?
I am stoked that we found a way to get Avengers Endgame into the top 16.
Yeah, right?
I am willing to say bye-bye.
Yeah, I think it has to be. I mean, when Joe comes back after so long and whispers on your left to Amy, we can't not talk about
that. As they fight the little men in the big battle again. No, I would say that, like, the two of you have bothered me, like, annoyed me over the last couple months about how much you liked Little Women, and I fucking loved it. Yeah. So that's how I feel about you two. There's no way that Avengers Endgame can move on and try to fight Parasite.
Yeah. And we love Avengers Endgame, of course. What a great movie. But the fact that it made it this far, that's it winning. Mm-hmm. That's what's amazing. That's how good it was that it made it this far. But
I'm going to watch it tonight.
Yeah, honestly, enjoy your viewing, and I know that you will. If I could watch either movie right now with no hesitation, I say Little Women.
Me too.
No hesitation.
And I don't like that. I don't know if that's like good criticism, but that is the fact.
That's just
even
true.
though like Spider-Man is in the other movie, I would choose Little Women.
But how great would it be if instead of Timothy Chalamet, it was Peter Parker as Spider-Man?
If Topher Grace puts like some cut together where every Avenger is Florence Pugh, then I will watch that one.
Yeah, dude, isn't it time for a movie where Florence Pugh plays every character, a la Crumps?
Florence Pugh
and Florence Pugh
and Florence Pugh.
She did star as every like blaster in Star Wars.
Pew 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 pew. That's a quality joke. You did not save it for the show where you get points, and I respect that. So I'm gonna remember that. Yeah, right. Pantomime's jerk-off motion.
You won't remember, just say it again.
All right. Our next matchup is number 5, The Irishman, versus number 21, Booksmart. And I feel like we're doing the same thing again. I feel like this is the same matchup, just over again.
All right, so Little Women is old Booksmart.
Yeah.
Avengers Endgame is future Irishman.
Yeah.
So we gave it to Little Women. I think we have to give it to Irishman.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Why do we do this? Why is the show this way?
We were so cocky in our far, far past of the Patreon episode.
Yeah.
We just cut 16.
It's because nothing matters then, and we know it. We're just rolling it with our cocks out.
I mean, okay. We'll go through all the different stages of the conversation. Cultural footprint.
It's Irishman.
It's obviously Irishman, right?
Is it?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. For good or bad, it definitely
Do you know
is.
what part of what hurt Booksmart, too, is that Olivia Wilde was about to have an all-time year. Her first movie that she ever directed was Booksmart. And then she was the reporter in Richard Jewell that like gave it up for facts and stuff.
Yeah.
And that sort of crushed Olivia Wilde's year.
Man, I wanted to see that Richard Jewell movie, and then that story came out, and I was like, well, obviously you can't. It's already like problematic enough just being a Clint Eastwood
They say
movie.
that at the movie theater when you buy a ticket.
Yeah, not you, sir. We can tell by the way you're dressed you don't want to actually see this movie.
But in the Patreon episode, Greg, you said lesser Scorsese.
Yeah.
And I want to do the show because I want to figure out how
does
much
it,
lesser.
Where does it belong in the Scorsese catalog? I think also one thing working against Booksmart is it came out in like March of last year or whatever, and that really does hurt you. It hurts to come out so early. Okay, well, let's talk about it, everybody. What's it going to be? Is it going to be number 5, The Irishman, or number 21, Booksmart? Ryan?
The other thing I love about this, too, is that we get to join that thing of like always complaining that comedies get no respect.
Yeah.
While right now saying this one's not. It's Irishman.
Or we dig in our heels and say Irishman was hilarious.
Also, okay.
We're defending
This is
comedy.
a very gendered choice, isn't it? Because you have a movie that actually explores women's lives, young women's lives, versus a movie where there's like one woman, Patricia Arquette, right? She's just like, hello, at one point, and that's like the full extent of female participation in the movie. So just go forward with that in your day. Mike, what's it going to be? Booksmart or The Irishman?
Irishman says
all right. I don't even have to vote. I would have voted for Booksmart. I'm sorry, I'm a feminist.
Right.
Ryan, this is what a feminist looks like.
Right.
This is what a performative male feminist looks like. Okay.
Can we get that as a t-shirt?
When we come back, we're going to do the rest of the choices for the first round of the 2019 Movie of the Year. If you're a Patreon listener, you don't need me to tell you that we agonized over what should win between Star Wars and Pain and Glory last round. And I'm so glad that we did, because that's definitely going to be worth it when it matches up against number 2 seeded Joker, the clown prince of crime, right?
Okay, so Star Wars was so bad, and we're always like trying to like find the words of how bad it was.
Yeah.
It was so bad that it launched Joker into the top 8, and now we have to do a show.
Yep.
It's just toxic fandom v toxic fandom.
Yeah, seriously.
Love it.
Was there no Rick and Morty movie this year?
Honestly, Star Wars makes Joker feel like a movie that you actually want to say anything about, because it's not useful to talk about Star Wars. There's nothing to say about it. It's a big nothing, and then also it has Babu Frick.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were just talking about the little pervy droid fixer for an hour and a half.
Babu Frick.
I fucking love... I want to watch Star Wars Origins Babu Frick.
We could talk about how it's essentially the movie equivalent of a vegetarian eatery, which is to say no steaks. Right, guys? No steaks.
Greg, we don't have points on this show.
I know.
And I'm never allowed to give you any, and I would not have for that one. Yeah.
No, let's give each other points for that, Ryan.
But no, like, as problematic as Joker is, not just in that the typical way that word is used, but just for the three of us. And Greg, you have not seen it yet, right?
I have not seen it.
So, yeah, I want to hear that.
You lucky duck.
Yeah, I want to hear that fresh off the press's opinion of yours.
I have literally never had any interest, and always I've been aware I probably would have to eventually for our 2019 season. And I wouldn't say like I'm super bummed, but like I'll say this much: I love Joaquin Phoenix. I really do. I love him, and I'm sure he does a good job in this movie, and I'll enjoy that.
That's the thing that I want. That's the segment I want the most. Is that like I think that we're going to be able to nitpick all of the points that like trick people into thinking it's good or better than your typical superhero movie, but aren't. But Joaquin Phoenix's performance, his Academy Award-winning performance, is something that I really want to get down to because he is my favorite actor.
Yeah,
like once the DDL retired, like it was Joaquin Phoenix's role, and I don't know if he's even that good in it.
Dang, I can't wait. I can't wait to talk about it. I don't want to see it, but I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I want to
do that.
I guess I want to finally have an informed opinion about it because all I've ever told people is I can't say whether it's good or bad or not because I have like zero interest in it. I just really, I'm not interested at all. So,
yeah.
Last thing I want to say about Star Wars is, again, what's most offensive about this movie is what it does to the character of Rose Tycho. That is the ultimate unforgivable sin of this movie. A character that had like so much life and was the best part of what was an uneven movie in The Last Jedi, and what it did to her and did to the actress is just, it's so sad and it's so unforgivable. And I'll never think of this movie without thinking about that crime.
She also played Batman in Joker, and they cut all of her scenes out as well. Yeah,
that was horseshit.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous because I want to see her take on Batman. Okay, so what's it going to be, guys? Joker, again, the Clown Prince of Crime versus number 18, Star Wars.
I can't wait because this Joker will be our most listened to show ever and also our most hate mail filled show ever.
Yeah, we're gonna
bring fucking Joker on.
Are we finally going to get the vaunted death threats? That's when you know you've really made it.
Death threats.
We're going to get doxed hard, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because I want to move. I'm looking for an excuse.
I like, believe it or not, I am excited for a Joker show.
Yeah.
And I do not want to do a Star Wars
show. Same here,
Joker.
dude. I don't want to see the movie, but I do want to talk about it. All right, next up is Marriage Story at number 7 seed versus number 10 seed Us.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to say we did both of these already.
We recorded both of these episodes, right?
They do exist. We all loved Us when it first came out.
We always love Us.
And saw Us again and went, you know what? The more you're around us, the less you like us.
I have to say, I still think that one day in the future, some future generation of people is going to look at Us and say, okay, the people at the time didn't get it. There was something else going on. Because at the end of the day, I guess I have so much faith in Jordan Peele that my being like, this is a flawed movie, some part of me is like, there's just an interpretation out there that hasn't been found yet that totally revitalizes the opinion of this movie.
Now that Parasite has been anointed, there's been the backlash, because there always is, and a lot of it is their central metaphor, and all the metaphors around it. Is it a bunch of bullshit? Like, does he not know what's going on? And I would love to talk about that in our Parasite show, which is going to happen. When we watched Us, I couldn't sort of get over that. The fact that, like, he sort of lost control of the movie and thought that, I don't know, like, how he can direct a suspense scene or a horror scene would make up for it. And so often he's right. But Marriage Story, I think, is closer to perfect and also does have its thumbprint on society, Greg, because of what you talked about in our Marriage Story show. It got memed, and that's what kept it in the zeitgeist longer than maybe it would have.
Yeah, that episode I think features one of my patented Greg rants that we have been asked to discontinue using in our show. But it's a bit that I'm very committed to. Okay, well, we have the 2 episodes in the can, so in a large way, does it even matter? Yes, of course it matters.
Of course it matters.
One of these could potentially be the movie of the year. The other one is being cast off for all time.
I see these both as like top 8s, though. This is a bummer.
Yeah, definitely. I think Us gives you so much to talk about that it made for a good show. I remember recording the show and being like, dang, that was a good one.
Good.
Us, yeah.
Us is good.
A good one, Us. And then our doppelgangers all nodded, and things got real. Okay, so what's it going to be, Mike? Marriage Story or Us?
I hate to vote against my favorite movie of the year and for Ryan's favorite movie of the year, but I have to vote for Marriage Story.
Yeah!
Marriage Story. Okay, congratulations, Marriage Story. Moving on. Us just wasn't your day. All right, our next matchup is the number 3 seed, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which I believe takes place in the Once Upon a Time in Mexico universe, versus number 19 seed, The Souvenir, a movie which Ryan has told us is real.
And you guys could still watch it, right? It's on Amazon Prime once again. Like,
yeah.
You guys could
it's
go.
not in this season. I don't know.
Sometimes I will find myself, when we're recording a season of the show, watching other movies that aren't in the bracket from that year to get a little bit of the flavor of the year.
What a weird life you live.
You're nuts.
Honestly,
what the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Honestly, I'm existential dread and whimsy just wrapped up into one.
That sounds like somebody who doesn't have to watch a bunch of fucking CW superheroes.
Yeah, I know. It's very freeing. It's very freeing, guys.
I believe, and I love the fact, but I believe that the Oscar story right now is how often Parasite beat 1917. And then as time goes by, it'll be, but it also beat Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a bunch.
Which is a movie about Hollywood.
Which, yeah, that's the most, the artist won Best Picture, Gregory. Like, can you even remember back to that time?
Usually if you make a movie's about movies, then movie makers are like, this is a good movie. This pertains to me.
That's me.
But I love doing Tarantino shows. We've done 2, I think. We've done Kill Bill and Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
And it always comes down to, like, how do you actually think about Quentin Tarantino? And, like, how much buy-in do you have? Mm-hmm. And Once Upon a Time is going to raise all of those questions once again.
And I've heard that this is Tarantino's Irishman, that people say this is lesser Tarantino.
No
and then there's people
not.
like you who are saying that that anytime people are arguing, I want to watch that.
This guy, man, this is upper division Tarantino for me, for sure. And also it makes me feel uncomfortable in so many ways. And the way, not being able to like have one final vision of what a movie means or how it makes you feel always does really well in our competition.
Absolutely.
It always does really well.
Because after our podcast, we had the final say of what it actually means. For me, it's always been Pulp Fiction, then Jackie Brown, and that third spot has been
shifty.
Yeah, like it just moves around all the time. And it could be Oatha, or what's the acronym? Oatha.
Once Upon a Time. ... In Hollywood. Well, voting time is here. What's it going to be, Mike? Number 3, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, or number 19, The Souvenir, a movie that, again, I remind you, exists.
Does exist. It has to be Oatha. Oatha.
Ryan, what's it going to be? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or The Souvenir?
I will also go with that wonderful Slipknot song. Who's that?
No, it's Disturbed.
I'm
so sorry.
Come on.
You can see his face with his 2 weird chin piercings.
The Souvenir, Ryan told a delightful story about it in the Patreon-only episode. Ryan, I don't want you to recount that now.
Don't.
I'm raking them over the fucking financial coals.
$5
I
a
love
month,
all
folks.
the commercials you're doing for the Patreon episode, Greg.
I want the people to know that they can just give us money for like slightly more content. All right, the next matchup is number 6, Midsommar, as I believe I've been instructed to read it, versus number 22, 1917. Guys, I remind you, 1917 was a huge fucking movie.
Oh my God.
We all thought
Greg's gonna watch Midsommar. Greg's gonna watch Midsommar.
We all thought it was gonna win Best Picture of the Year. My sister said it was the best movie she saw of the year.
Your sister, famous for her favorite movie being Cuffs. This is the person you're talking about?
What is Cuffs?
It's a Christian Slater cop movie.
It's a Christian Slater cop movie that a lot of people enjoyed.
I was annoyed that Midsommar got cut out of the Oscars, like no nominations until what's her name?
Florence Pugh.
No, the lady who won Best Album last year.
Oh yeah,
Janelle Monáe.
Gergen
did a whole big thing, and then brought all these characters from movies out of the year, including there was 3 Dolomites and a bunch of Midsommar characters. Back in the zeitgeist, folks. Midsommar is there.
Was there a guy kind of like just in a, not really wearing a bear costume, but quite literally wearing a bear?
Mike, have you seen the movie?
No.
Greg, shut up. Greg, what are you doing right now?
Okay.
The way that's leading my vote, all I know is that at no point in an infamous D&D game was there any 1917 references. So
yeah, I may have borrowed liberally from the movie Midsommar.
Also, Fighting with My Family, the Rock produced movie about Paige, the WWE wrestler.
It's really pretty good.
Did not make the top 32.
Yeah.
So we're already losing a Florence Pugh movie there.
We took a pew out of it.
Yeah.
Man, what kind of church is this where we're just removing pews?
So
take a pew, get a pew.
I'm not going to go into this with only one Florence Pugh movie in 2019.
Right? Why would anybody... Oof. God. Okay. Remember, 1917 had Benedict Cumberbatch in it.
In the most
Potato Face himself.
The most jammed in forced stupid cameo in a movie that is full of forced jammed cameos.
Yeah, I guess ultimately we have nothing to say about 1917, right?
Yeah, I don't want to do that show.
I thought it was mostly inoffensive, and I would have even said it was a fun night at the movies. But your disdain for it always movies kind of blanch under the withering glare of Ryan, and so it was like.
What about that time where like the two lead characters were like, "Oh man, we've had a lot of action today. There's been a lot of excitement. Let's walk into this field of flowers and get all of our fucking analogies and poetry out of the way."
And I can't wait until it's no longer 1917.
Oh, that's the title. That's the title. They said it.
Also, I don't really understand the movie.
You like what it's saying?
I don't understand the movie at all.
Why?
Why it exists?
I just didn't see the first 1916
oh,
movie. So.
Dang! I can't believe we got this far.
Well, I didn't want to waste that on the Patreon only.
Yeah. Why give it to our loyal paying customers? We can just give it to all these grubby content pigs out there.
This is the hardest. This is the hardest match.
No, thank you. Anybody who listens, obviously, thank you. I don't mean
to... we love you little piggies.
I think they could all read between the lines of what you were saying.
Just slurp up our slop for free, little oinkies.
I would say this is the hardest one, not from like our fandom, but from like what does society actually want more?
Yeah.
And I think the Oscars told us it's Midsommar.
Okay, well, I think I see the writing on the wall here. Mike, what do you want to do? Is it Midsommar or 1917? Midsommar, Ryan?
Midsommar.
Okay, you know what? I'll probably watch it.
You can do it, dude.
A lot of it takes place during the day. I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah, it's so brilliant. I just don't want to be Taylor's best friend.
Well,
can I tell you guys how we fucked up?
How'd you fuck up?
I think 5 of these 8 movies are 2.5 hours or more.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Yeah. No, my vote's changed.
Yeah, we took the longies. I think we took the longer movie and almost every time we had an opportunity to.
If they changed the name of the Oscars to the Longies, that would basically be the same.
Man, make us an 80-minute movie, and we'll make you the movie of the fucking year. That's what we'll do. Okay, Ryan, well, we have our 8 movies, right? Do you want to tell the listeners at home what they are?
These are the 8 movies of 2019. We're going to do a show about each of these. Parasite, Uncut Gems, Little Women, The Irishman, Joker, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Midsommar.
As I like to say about our choices, they are canonical. We did a really good job.
It's
very hard to get all the way down to 8 movies, and I can't believe what a good job we did.
I think the only glaring one, knowing the 3 of us, is Knives Out. Otherwise, I think that these are the 8, right?
Yeah. I mean, Knives Out and Uncut Gems were the 8 and 9th original seeds.
Right.
And that's kind of what it feels like they are on this list. Like, that was the only real close liner. That's the only thing missing. And you know what? Since I'm ultimately the one who has to wear that Uncut Gems thing, I stand by it. That's going to be a way better show than our Knives Out show would have been.
Yeah, it's Knives Out would be the opposite of the 1917. It's just like, here's all the ways it's good, but I don't know, like, what else we can... It would just be litany of, yep, it's good here, and this is how it's good.
The Farewell and Us, we did. I don't know if that hurt or helped, but like those are 2 of our favorites. And then Booksmart is obviously not on the list, but we want you to watch.
The Farewell got buzzsaw because it had a tough draw. Booksmart that's a shame. I think that it entered and peaked and left the conversation at a bad time. But I think these are the 8 candidates for movie of the year, and I know for a fact that one of them, when it's all said and done, will be 2019's movie of the year. That is the end of the first round. Thank you so much to all the movies that came out. If you did not win, you are, of course, free to go home, get your parking validated by Mike. But before we go, guys, we have a website. It's yourpopfilter.com, and that's our central hub on the internet, and that's where you've got to go to find all the information you need. Also, if you're on the web, why not surf on over to amazon.com/yourpopfilter.
You're already on the internet.
You're already on the internet. You get all the stuff that you're going to get.
It is that, but flipped. yourpopfilter.com/Amazon.
yourpopfilter.com/Amazon. What I could see a world in which it makes sense for me to memorize what one of the 2 it really is, and then consistently only say the real one.
But once you think that you've memorized it, you're always going to get it wrong.
Yeah. I could even. It could be argued that I could write it down.
Do you guys ever do that thing where like you meet somebody at work or whatever, and you're like, okay, her name is Kristen and not Caitlin. It's Kristen, not Caitlin. Mm-hmm. And then you're just going to call her Caitlin for the rest of your life. You're going to
scream the wrong name at her when you say her.
This is literally what happens every time I meet someone. I say, hello, my name is Greg. And I put out my hand, and then we shake hands. And they say, hello, my name is... And then what I hear... honestly, it's just like... And then I'm like, no, you should have listened. And then I just never know their name. And then later I find out what it is, but I'm too afraid. I'm too afraid to ever use it. And then I just hide at home.
Nobody says, hey, you, more than I do.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, you're a
big hey you guy. I don't think you've ever used my name. Okay. Mike, talk about the podcast we got cooking.
We got Movie of the Year. You already know what that's about. You know you're supposed to subscribe, rate, and review it. We got the Superhero Hour, where Ryan and I and somebody else go through different comic book television week in, week out. We got the OCD, where it's just me and Ryan talking about the OC every week in, week out.
So honestly, you don't have to listen to other podcasts. You can just listen to our fleet of podcasts.
We hit all the bases.
We got it. We got you covered. We also have a Twitter. It's at Your Pop Filter. I have my own personal Twitter, you guys, is at Pensive Gorilla. And I'm doing a lot of work out there for everybody.
Yeah, it's been active.
I have been told to tone it down. And you know what I said? I'm sorry, I can't. I don't control. I have very little control over it. But at Your Pop Filter, that's sort of the company. That's the whole deal there. And then at Your Pop Filter on Instagram, you get to see what we really look like. Little snaps of us hard at work, some guided tours of our palatial studios.
We only record in buttless chaps?
We only record in buttless chaps. You don't want to have your butt covered for a podcast. Ryan, talk about email.
Email? You mean our specific email, right?
Please do. Yeah, okay. Don't do a thing about it.
The history of electronic mail.
We don't have a time for a bit right now. So email us at contact@yourpopfilter.com if you think that it's ridiculous that us, The Farewell, or Knives Out. I forgot the rest of the title.
Knives.
It's kind of more like about knives being in, though, right?
Should have made our top 8, and you can't believe that we're not doing a show about it. Or Avengers Endgame. I bet there's a lot of those out there.
Yeah.
Then email us and tell us why. But, don't just be like, fuck you. No. You guys are, MAGA haters. Actually tell us why, and then we will read your email on the show. We mostly do it for Superhero Hour, but we could do it for Movie of the Year.
Yeah, we'll read your email.
Contact@yourpopfilter.com.
Also, don't be too rude, but I guess do be a little rude.
I know, you have to find that line in order to get read. If you're not rude at all,
then it's going to be boring and there's no reason.
Not going to do it.
We're so tired of getting emails that are like, you guys have the best podcast. I listen to it all the time.
We know.
You're so good. It's like, yes, okay, obviously. We also listen to the podcast and we know how good it is.
Don't be an Amy. Don't be a Dead March. Be just Beth is, just be a Joe.
Just be a Joe.
You got to be a Joe.
Always be Joe.
Joe is like the Mario of the Little Women universe. She's got a lot of them have one extreme ability, but she's got a lot of the abilities of all of them all together.
Is there a Super Little Smash Women game that we can play and fight all these people?
I would love it. Be Marmy. Just come in and be Marmy. I would be.
Just still has just a big hammer.
I would be Lori.
Or Marmy sees on the big ship that you're always fighting on a big ship.
Yeah.
She sees that you're about to dine to a big breakfast and she takes it away and gives it to poor people.
Don't you girls feel guilty? So the next thing you're going to hear on our little radio station here is our Parasite episode, right?
Yeah.
Are you guys so excited?
Can we vote to flip it? I don't know if I want Parasite lording over the whole season.
I mean, I understand how it's weird. It's a little daunting to do that first, but is it because are you trying to make podcast drama, or are you just fucking scared about talking about Parasite?
I love drama. I love being scared. That's why I want to go Midsommar.
Because you're saying that we're going to talk about it and flip out about it, and then we're going to do 7 more shows, and by the time we're going to for our you know what's going to happen? It's not going to be Midsommar, but it's going to be Once Upon a Time in Mexico. If we end up,
do you guys want to randomize it?
I think we should.
Random.
I think we should.
Okay. Greg, when you were doing the outro and you talked about yourpopfilter.com and Amazon.com yourpopfilter.com/Amazon.
Obviously.
Did you say I have a Parasites to tell you about?
Oh, I didn't.
You did not do that.
Okay, we'll take it from the top on that.
Redo.
All right, but that is it for this episode. For Ryan, I'm Greg. For Mike, I'm Greg. I am Greg. We will see you next week. And in the meantime, you know what you can do? You can keep watching them movies.
Bum, 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 bum.